Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the TDS Ranger, watching the stars through the main screen. He had been exploring space for 15 years, but he still loved the beauty of the universe. Today felt different, though. His ship was near, the Kepler 442 system, checking for new planets that humans could live on. "Captain, we're getting strange readings," said Lieutenant Commander Ryan Brooks from his station. "There are ships out there, big ones." Jake walked over to look at the data. The numbers showed at least 20 large vessels moving toward them. These were not human ships. They were too big and shaped wrong. Jake felt his heart beat faster. This could be humanity's first meeting with aliens. "Dr. Carter, please come." "To the bridge," Jake said into his communicator. Lisa Carter was the best person on his ship for talking to new species. She knew more about aliens than anyone else in the human fleet. Lisa arrived quickly, her eyes bright with excitement. "Are they really here? Real aliens?" "Looks like it," Jake said. "What should we do?" Lisa smiled. "We follow the rules. We try to make friends. We show them we come in peace." The alien ships came closer. They were huge, much bigger than the Ranger. Each one was black and covered with sharp points. They looked like they were made for fighting. Jake did not like this, but he stayed calm. "Send them a message," Jake told his communications officer. "Tell them we are humans from Earth. We want to talk in peace." The message went out into space. For 10 minutes, nothing happened. Then the aliens answered. The voice that came through the speakers was deep and harsh. It did not sound friendly. "Humans, we are the Zephyrian Dominion. You will stop your ship and prepare to surrender." Jake looked at Lisa. She shook her head. "That's not how first contact should go," she whispered. Jake stepped forward. "This is Captain Morrison of the human ship Ranger. We don't want to fight. We came here to explore and learn. Maybe we can help each other." The alien voice laughed. It was not a nice sound. "Humans are weak. We have watched your small ships. You have only a few worlds. We rule hundreds of planets and thousands of ships. You will bow to us or die." "Let me try," Lisa said. She moved to the communication station. "Great Zephyrian leaders, we bring gifts from our world. We have art, music, and science to share. Our people want to be friends with yours." Jake watched the main screen as one of the alien ships moved closer. It was so big that it blocked out the stars. The ship had weapons all over it. Big guns pointed at the Ranger. "Your gifts mean nothing," the alien voice said. "We are War Master Kethvor of the Zephyrian fleet. We take what we want. We do not make friends with food." "Food?" Lisa asked, confused. "All weak species become food or slaves. You humans look very weak. Your ships are small. Your weapons are small. You will make good slaves for our empire." Jake felt anger growing in his chest. These aliens thought humans were just animals. They did not want to talk or learn. They only wanted to hurt people. "We don't want to be your slaves," Jake said. "We just want to live in peace. There's room in space for everyone." "There is only room for the strong," Kethva replied. "Watch and learn what happens to those who refuse the Dominion." On the screen, Jake saw one of the alien ships turn away from them. It pointed toward a small space station in the distance. The station was a human mining base called New Hope. Jake knew there were 200 people working there. "No, wait," Jake shouted. "Those are innocent people." But it was too late. A bright beam of light shot from the alien ship. It hit the space station, and the station exploded. In seconds, it was gone. 200 humans were dead. The bridge of the Ranger went quiet. Everyone stared at the screen where the station used to be. Jake felt sick. These aliens had just killed 200 people to make a point. "Now you understand," Kethver said. This is what happens when you say no to us. We give you humans 30 of your days. In 30 days, you will surrender all your worlds to us. Your people will become our slaves. If you refuse, we will kill every human in the galaxy. You can't do this, Lisa said. Her voice was shaking. We never hurt you. We only wanted to be friends. Friends are for equals, the alien said. You are not our equals. You are nothing. Your weapons are toys. Your ships are slow. Your people are soft. We have destroyed 1,000 species stronger than you. Humans will be easy. Jake wanted to fight right now, but he knew his ship could not win against 20 alien warships. He had to think about his crew. He had to get this information back to Earth. We need time to think, Jake said. 30 days, Kefvar repeated. Then we come for all humans. Tell your leaders that the Zephyrian Dominion cannot be stopped. We have ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years. We will rule it for 1,000 more. The alien ships started to move away, but Jake knew they would be watching. Commander Amy Foster, who had been quiet during the whole meeting, finally spoke. Captain, we need to get this information to Admiral Hayes right away. The whole human race is in danger. Jake nodded. Set course for Earth. Maximum speed. As the Ranger turned toward home, Jake looked back at where the mining station used to be. The aliens thought humans were weak. They thought humans would be easy to defeat. They had made their choice to start a war instead of making peace. Jake thought about his daughter back on Earth. He thought about all the human children who would grow up as slaves if these aliens won. He thought about the 200 people who died today just because they were human. The aliens were wrong about one thing. Humans were not weak. They just had not shown their strength yet. Jake had read about human history. When humans were pushed too hard, when their families were threatened, they became very dangerous. Ryan, Jake said to his tactical officer, send a message to Fleet Command. Tell them we need to prepare for war. Yes, sir, Ryan replied. As the stars moved past the ship, Jake made a promise to himself. The aliens picked the wrong species to threaten. They killed innocent people. They demanded slavery. They thought humans would just give up. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Humans had been fighting for thousands of years. They knew how to defend their families. They knew how to win wars against stronger enemies. The Zephyrians wanted a war. Jake hoped they were ready for what humans could do when they were angry. The next 30 days would change everything. The galaxy was about to learn what humans were really made of. The war was coming, and Jake knew that when it was over, the aliens would wish they had chosen to be friends instead. The emergency meeting started 3 hours after Captain Morrison returned to Earth. Admiral Patricia Hayes sat at the head of the big table in the war room. Around her were the most important people in human space. Everyone looked worried. Tell us again what they said, Admiral Hayes asked Jake. Jake stood up and repeated the aliens' words. They want all humans to surrender in 30 days. If we don't, they will kill everyone. They already destroyed the New Hope Station to show us they mean it. General Sam Rodriguez hit the table with his fist. 200 innocent people dead. These aliens think they can scare us into giving up our freedom. Dr. Lisa Carter was also at the meeting. She had studied the recordings of the alien contact many times. They called us weak. They said our weapons and ships were toys. They think we can't fight back. Can we fight back? Asked President Karen Walsh, who had come from Earth's government. How many ships do they have? Our scouts counted at least 5,000 warships, Jake said. Each one is 3 times bigger than our largest battleship. The room went quiet. 5,000 ships was more than the entire human fleet. Everyone knew the numbers were bad. Admiral Hayes stood up slowly. There's something you all need to know. Something we've kept secret for a long time. She pressed a button on the table, and the lights dimmed. A hologram appeared showing plans for ships and weapons. For the last 50 years, we have been preparing for this day. We knew that someday we might meet hostile aliens. So we built weapons and ships in secret. We called it Project Prometheus. Professor Helen Wright stepped forward. She was an old woman with gray hair, but her eyes were sharp and smart. We found alien technology on Earth many years ago. Crashed ships buried deep in the ground. We studied them and learned how to build better weapons. The hologram changed to show new types of ships. They were sleek and fast, not like the regular human fleet. General Rodriguez smiled for the first time all day. We have been building a secret fleet, the general said, hidden in bases that most people don't know about. We have new weapons that can punch through alien armor. We have ships that can jump through space faster than anything the aliens have seen. Jake looked at the hologram with wide eyes. How many ships do we really have? 800 of the new warships, Admiral Hayes said, plus 2,000 smaller ships with the new weapons. And we have something else the aliens don't expect. Captain Tony Mitchell stepped into the room. He was wearing black armor that Jake had never seen before. The armor seemed to move like it was alive. We have super soldiers, Mitchell said. Humans with enhanced armor and weapons. We can fight in space, on planets, or inside enemy ships. The aliens think humans are soft, but they haven't met us yet. Dr. Carter looked amazed. You've been planning for war this whole time? Professor Wright nodded. We hoped we would never need these weapons. We wanted to meet friendly aliens and share knowledge. But we also knew there might be aliens like these Zephyrians, aliens who only understand force. Admiral Hayes brought up another hologram. This one showed the alien fleet positions. Captain Mitchell has been sending scouts to watch the enemy. Tell us what you found. Mitchell pointed to the hologram. The aliens are good at building big ships, but they're lazy. They've been winning easy fights for so long that they don't try very hard anymore. Their ships fly in straight lines. Their tactics are old and simple. What does that mean? President Walsh asked. It means they expect every fight to be easy, Jake said, understanding. They think they just have to show up and the enemy will surrender. Exactly, General Rodriguez said. They've never fought an enemy that fought back hard. They don't know how to handle a real war. The hologram showed human ships moving in complex patterns. Our new ships can appear and disappear quickly, Professor Wright explained. We can attack from many directions at once. The aliens won't know where we're coming from. Admiral Hayes looked around the room. The aliens gave us 30 days. We're going to use those days to get ready. But we're not just going to wait for them to attack us. What do you mean? Jake asked. Captain Mitchell smiled. It was not a nice smile. We're going to show them that humans are not weak. We're going to hit their supply ships. We're going to attack their scouts. We're going to make them afraid. The aliens think this will be easy, General Rodriguez said. They think they can just fly to our worlds and we'll give up. They're wrong. We're going to make this the hardest fight they've ever had. Dr. Carter looked worried. But what if we lose? What if there are too many of them? Admiral Hayes put her hand on Lisa's shoulder. Doctor, humans have been fighting wars for thousands of years. We've fought enemies with better weapons. We've fought enemies with more soldiers. We've always found a way to win when we have to. The aliens made a big mistake, Jake said, thinking about the destroyed space station. They killed innocent people. They threatened our families. Now every human in the galaxy wants to fight them. Professor Wright nodded. Fear can make people weak, but anger can make them strong. The aliens made us angry. The meeting continued. For hours, they made plans for the secret fleet. They decided which planets to defend first. They chose the best places to fight the aliens. When the meeting was over, Jake walked outside. Earth's moon was shining in the sky. He thought about his daughter sleeping in her room. The aliens wanted to make her a slave. They wanted to take away her freedom. Captain Mitchell joined him outside. Scared? He asked. Yes, Jake said honestly. But also excited. The aliens think they know what humans are like. They're about to learn they were wrong. My soldiers are ready, Mitchell said. We've been training for years. We know how to fight aliens hand to hand. We know how to take over their ships. We know how to win. Jake thought about War Master Kethfer, the alien leader who had laughed at humans. When this war is over, I want to see his face when he realizes what he started. You will, Mitchell promised, because we're going to capture him alive. He's going to surrender to the weak humans he thought he could enslave. Over the next few days, the secret human fleet began to move. Ships that had been hidden for years came out of secret bases. Soldiers who had trained in darkness prepared for war. Scientists worked day and night to build more weapons. The aliens were counting down 30 days until human surrender. But humans were counting down 30 days until the aliens learned the truth. Humans were not weak. They were not afraid. They were not going to surrender. The aliens had picked the wrong species to threaten. They had made the mistake of thinking that peaceful meant weak. They had killed innocent people and expected the rest to give up. Soon they would learn that the most dangerous thing in the galaxy was not an alien warship. It was an angry human with something to protect. The war was coming, and humanity was ready. 2 weeks had passed since the aliens gave their ultimatum. The Zephyrians expected humans to be preparing for surrender. Instead, humans were preparing for war. Dr. Kevin Park sat in a dark room filled with computers. He was the best hacker in human space, and today he was about to break into alien computer systems. His fingers moved quickly over the keyboard as he sent invisible signals through space. Got it, he said to himself. The alien communication network was now open to him. He could see their messages, their plans, and their fears. What he found made him smile. The aliens were starting to worry. Their scouts had been disappearing. Their supply ships were being attacked. They did not understand how humans could fight back so quickly. Kevin began typing a new message. It would look like it came from a Zephyrian commander, but it would spread confusion through their fleet. Supply Convoy 7 has been destroyed. Human ships appeared from nowhere. They had weapons we have never seen before. He sent the message to 20 different alien commanders. Soon, they would all be asking questions. They would start to doubt their easy victory. Meanwhile, Colonel Maria Santos was leading a team of soldiers through an asteroid field. Hidden in the rocks was a Zephyrian supply base. The aliens thought it was safe because it was far from human space. They were wrong. Maria's soldiers wore the new stealth armor that made them almost invisible. They could walk through space without air, and their weapons could cut through alien metal like paper. Remember, Maria whispered to her team through their helmet radios, we're not here to destroy everything. We want them to know we were here. We want them to be afraid. The soldiers spread out around the alien base. It was built into a large asteroid and had 20 ships docked to it. Maria could see alien guards walking around, but they looked bored. They were not expecting trouble. Maria's team moved like ghosts. They placed bombs on the alien ships, but the bombs would not explode for hours. They broke into the alien computers and stole information about fleet movements. They even left messages written in human languages on the walls. By the time the aliens realized humans had been there, Maria's team was already gone. But they left behind proof that humans could strike anywhere, anytime. Commander Lavra Bell was in command of a human stealth ship called the Shadow. Her job was to watch the main alien fleet and learn how they fought. The shadow was invisible to alien sensors, so she could get very close. What she saw surprised her. The alien ships were powerful, but they moved slowly. They stayed in straight lines like they were in a parade. Their weapons were big, but they could only shoot in one direction at a time. They fight like they're still in the old days, Laura told her crew. They expect their enemies to line up and fight fair. They don't know how to handle fast, smart tactics. Laura's ship recorded everything. She watched how long it took the aliens to turn their ships. She counted their weapons. She found their weak spots. The information went back to Admiral Hayes and her planners. Every day, humans learned more about how to beat the aliens. Captain Greg Hunter was leading a squadron of the new human fighters. They were small, fast ships that could appear and disappear using quantum jump technology. Today, they were going to test alien defenses. Remember, Greg told his pilots, we're not trying to win a big battle. We just want to see how they react. Hit them fast, then get out. The human fighters jumped into space near a small alien patrol. The aliens had 3 ships, each one much bigger than the human fighters. But size was not everything. Greg's fighters attacked from 3 different directions at once. Their weapons punched holes in the alien ships before the aliens could turn to fight back. By the time the aliens started shooting, the human fighters were already gone. What just happened? One of Greg's pilots asked over the radio. We just taught them that big and slow loses to small and fast, Greg replied. The attack only lasted 2 minutes, but it made the aliens very worried. How could tiny human ships hurt their powerful warships so easily? Back on Earth, General Rodriguez was reading reports from all the secret missions. Every day brought new proof that the aliens were not as strong as they pretended to be. They're getting scared, he told Admiral Hayes. Their commanders are sending messages asking for help. They're moving ships around because they don't know where we'll attack next. Admiral Hayes looked at the big map showing alien positions. Red dots showed where humans had attacked. There were dozens of them, scattered across space. Good, she said. We want them confused. We want them to worry about every shadow, every sound. When they finally attack our worlds, they'll be looking over their shoulders. Dr. Kevin Park had been busy for days, sending fake messages through the alien network. The aliens were starting to believe the humans had a much bigger fleet than Tiden. They really did. Some alien commanders thought humans had secret weapons that could destroy planets. The best part, Kevin told his team, is that they're doing our job for us. They're so worried about human attacks that they're seeing threats everywhere. Half their fleet is chasing ghosts. Captain Tony Mitchell was leading a boarding party onto a captured alien ship. His super soldiers had taken the ship in less than 10 minutes. The alien crew was locked up, and Mitchell was looking through their computers. Interesting, he said as he read the alien files. These Zephyrians have been fighting weak enemies for so long that they forgot how to fight a real war. Look at this. Their battle plans haven't changed in 100 years. One of his soldiers looked at the alien prisoners. They were tall, gray, creatures with big eyes. They looked strong, but they seemed very confused. They keep asking how we got through their shields, the soldier reported. They can't understand how human weapons work. Mitchell smiled. Tell them that humans have been preparing for this war longer than they think. Tell them that we know all their secrets, but they know nothing about us. Meanwhile, War Master Cathfor was in his flagship, getting more and more angry. Every day brought new reports of human attacks. His supply ships were being destroyed. His patrol ships were disappearing. His commanders were asking for more ships to protect themselves. How are these humans doing this? He demanded from his staff. They only have a few small ships. They should be hiding and preparing to surrender. "Sir," one of his officers said carefully, "maybe we were wrong about human capabilities. Maybe they are stronger than we thought." Keffer hit the officer with his fist. "Impossible. We watched them for years. They are weak. They are few. They cannot fight the mighty Zephyrian Dominion." But even as he said it, Keffer was starting to doubt. In 2 weeks, he had lost more ships than in his last 10 conquests combined. The humans were supposed to be easy prey. Instead, they were fighting like demons. Captain Jake Morrison was back on his ship, the Ranger, leading a group of human vessels on a mission to rescue prisoners from an alien prison ship. The aliens had captured some human merchants and were taking them to be slaves. "There it is," Ryan Brooks said, pointing to the alien ship on the screen. "It's big, but it's alone." Jake smiled. "Perfect. Let's show them what happens when you take human prisoners." The battle was short and brutal. The human ships surrounded the alien vessel and attacked from all sides. The alien ship was powerful, but it could not fight in all directions at once. When the alien captain surrendered, Jake's forces rescued 50 human prisoners. But more importantly, they sent a message to every alien in the galaxy. Humans do not abandon their own dot. As the 15th day ended, Admiral Hayes looked at the reports from all the missions. Human forces had attacked the aliens over 100 times. They had rescued prisoners, destroyed supply ships, stolen information, and spread fear through the enemy fleet. "How many ships have we lost?" she asked General Rodriguez. 12, he replied. "The aliens have lost over 200. Admiral Hayes nodded. "The aliens gave us 30 days to surrender. Instead, we've spent 15 days teaching them that they made a terrible mistake." The aliens were learning that humans were not weak. They were not few. They were not afraid. But the real war had not even started yet. The aliens still thought they could win with their big fleet and powerful ships. They were about to learn that the most dangerous enemy was not the one with the biggest weapons. It was the one who refused to give up. The 30 days were over. War Master Keffer had expected a message of surrender from the humans. Instead, he got silence. The weak species had chosen to fight. "Send the fleet forward," he commanded from his flagship. "We will crush these insects and take their worlds." 5,000 Zephyrian warships began moving toward human space. They flew in perfect formations, just like they had done for 1,000 years. Keffer was confident that his superior numbers would win the day. He was about to learn how wrong he was. Fleet Admiral Chris Taylor stood on the bridge of his flagship, the TDS Liberty. Around him in space were 800 human warships, each one equipped with the secret weapons that Professor Wright had developed. "All ships, this is Admiral Taylor," he said into his communicator. "Today we fight for our families, our freedom, and our future. The aliens think we are weak. Let's show them what humans can do when we're angry." The first battle happened at the Centauri system. Captain Rachel Green commanded the battleship TDS Defiance, one of the most powerful ships in the human fleet. She watched as 50 alien ships approached her position. "They're flying straight at us," her tactical officer reported. "No evasive maneuvers, no complex tactics. They think they can just ram through our defenses." Rachel smiled. "Then let's teach them about human innovation. All ships execute quantum jump attack pattern alpha." Suddenly, the human ships disappeared. The aliens found themselves shooting at empty space. Then the human ships appeared behind. The alien formation, their weapons already firing. The alien ships were caught completely off guard. Their shields were facing forward, but the humans were attacking from behind. In the first minute of battle, 10 alien ships were destroyed. "Impossible," the alien commander shouted over the radio. "How did they get behind us?" "Welcome to human warfare," Rachel replied as their ships jumped to a new position and attacked again. Meanwhile, Major Steve Collins was leading his Marines in boarding actions against alien ships. The new human armor let his soldiers break through alien hulls and fight inside enemy vessels. Remember, Steve told his team as they prepared to board an alien cruiser, "These aliens have never fought humans in close combat. They don't know what we're capable of." The Marines cut through the alien ship's hull like it was paper. Inside, they found alien soldiers who were bigger and stronger than humans, but the aliens were slow and confused. They had never faced an enemy that fought so aggressively. Steve's Marines moved through the ship like a storm. They used the ship's own quarters against the aliens, attacking from unexpected directions. Within an hour, they had captured the entire vessel. How? The alien captain asked when he was brought before Steve. "Your soldiers are so small. How did you defeat us?" Steve took off his helmet and looked at the alien. "Size doesn't matter when you know how to fight smart. We've been practicing for this war our whole lives." Dr. Jennifer Walsh was on a human command ship, analyzing the battle as it happened. She watched the tactical displays and saw something amazing. "Admiral Taylor," she reported, "the alien ships are powerful, but they're not working together well. Each ship fights alone. They don't coordinate their attacks. What does that mean?" The Admiral asked. "It means they've never had to fight a real war before," Jennifer explained. "They're used to overwhelming weak enemies with raw power. They don't know how to handle an enemy that fights back intelligently." The battle continued for hours. The human ships used quantum jump technology to appear and disappear around the alien fleet. They would attack one group of alien ships, then vanish and attack somewhere else. The aliens tried to adapt, but their ships were too slow and their tactics too old. They had built their fleet for conquering weak enemies, not for fighting a real war. Captain Greg Hunter led his fighter squadrons in hit-and-run attacks on the alien capital ships. The small human fighters were too fast for the big alien guns to hit. "It's like fighting elephants with bees," Greg told his pilots. "We sting them until they fall down." The human fighters swarmed around the alien ships, hitting their weak points and destroying their weapons. The aliens had never faced such coordinated small ship attacks. As the day went on, the battle turned into a disaster for the Zephyrians. They had started with 50 ships, but lost 30 of them. The humans had only lost 5 ships, and those crews had been rescued. Kethvar watched the battle reports with growing horror. His powerful fleet was being torn apart by these supposedly weak humans. "Send reinforcements," he ordered. "Send everything we have." But the humans were ready for that too. Admiral Taylor had divided his fleet into 3 groups. When the alien reinforcements arrived, they found human ships waiting for them. The second battle was even worse for the aliens. The human ships attacked from multiple directions at once, using tactics that the aliens had never seen before. Captain Rachel Green's ship, the Defiance, led a group of human vessels in a maneuver called the Hammer and Anvil. Some human ships attacked from the front to get the aliens' attention, while others attacked from the sides and rear. "They're trying to surround us," the alien commander reported to Kethvar. "Then break through their lines," Kethvar ordered. "Sir, we can't. Every time we turn to fight one group of human ships, another group attacks us from behind. They're everywhere at once." The battle lasted all day. When it was over, the aliens had lost 200 ships. The humans had lost 20. Dr. Walsh analyzed the wreckage and found something interesting. "Admiral, the alien weapons are powerful, but they're not very accurate. They're designed to destroy planets and space stations, not to fight other warships. They built their fleet for terrorizing civilians," Admiral Taylor realized. "They never expected to fight an enemy that could shoot back effectively." Major Collins and his Marines had captured dozens of alien ships. The alien prisoners all said the same thing. They had never seen anything like human fighting tactics. "Your people fight like they're crazy," one alien officer told Collins. "You attack when you should retreat. You keep fighting when you should surrender. How do you do it?" "We're fighting for our families," Collins replied. When humans fight for something they love, they become very dangerous. News of the battles spread quickly through both fleets. The human crews were excited and confident. They had proven that they could beat the aliens in fair fights. The alien crews were confused and scared. They had been told that humans were weak and easy to defeat. Instead, humans were destroying their ships and capturing their comrades. Kethver called his remaining commanders together. His once mighty fleet of 5,000 ships was down to less than 4,000. In just 2 days of fighting, he had lost more ships than in his last 50 conquests. "How are these humans doing this?" he demanded. "Sir," one of his officers said carefully, "I think we underestimated them. Their ships are faster than ours. Their weapons are more accurate. Their tactics are more advanced. And their soldiers never give up," another officer added. "Even when surrounded, they keep fighting. Some of our ships have surrendered rather than face human boarding parties." Kethver could not believe what he was hearing. His mighty Zephyrian warriors were afraid of humans, but the reports kept coming in. Human ships appeared from nowhere and disappeared just as quickly. Human soldiers fought like demons. Human tactics were unpredictable and effective. For the first time in his life, Kethvar began to wonder if he might lose this war. Captain Jake Morrison was leading a group of rescue ships to save human civilians from planets that the aliens had attacked. When he arrived at the colony of New Texas, he found that the colonists had not just survived the alien attack, they had won. "How did you do it?" Jake asked the colony leader. "We used the mountains," the man explained. "The aliens expected us to stand in the open and fight their big ships. Instead, we hid in caves and attacked their landing parties. They couldn't use their heavy weapons without destroying the whole planet." Jake smiled. "Even human civilians were finding ways to beat the supposedly superior aliens. The war was far from over, but the pattern was clear. Every time humans fought aliens, the humans won. The aliens had superior numbers and bigger ships, but humans had better tactics, better coordination, and better motivation. The aliens were starting to realize that they had made a terrible mistake. They had picked a fight with the wrong species, but they were too proud to admit it yet. The war would continue, and humans would keep showing them just how wrong they had been. 6 months had passed since the war began. The mighty Zephyrian Dominion, which had ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years, was falling apart. Warmaster Kethver sat alone in his command room, looking at the battle reports. His fleet of 5,000 ships was down to less than 500. Worse, the other species in his empire were starting to rebel. "Sir," his communications officer said nervously, "we're getting reports of uprisings on 12 different worlds. The subject species are fighting back. They say if humans can beat us, so can they." Kethver wanted to be angry, but he was too tired. For months, he had watched his superior forces lose battle after battle to the humans. Every tactic he tried failed. Every weapon he used was turned against him. The humans were like nothing he had ever fought before. Captain Danny Murphy commanded a human liberation fleet that was freeing planets from Zephyrian control. Today, he was approaching the world of Kepler Prime, where the aliens had enslaved a peaceful species called the Altarians. "Remember," Danny told his crew, "we're not just fighting for humans anymore. We're fighting for every species that wants to be free." The battle for Kepler Prime lasted only 3 hours. The Zephyrian defenders were demoralized and poorly organized. Many of them surrendered without fighting. When the human ships landed, thousands of Altarians came out to greet them. They had blue skin and large eyes, and they looked at the humans like they were heroes. "Thank you," the Altarian leader said to Danny. "We thought we would be slaves forever." "How did you defeat the Zephyrians so easily?" Danny smiled. "We learned that bullies are usually cowards. When you stand up to them, they run away." Meanwhile, on Earth, Ambassador Robert Chun was preparing for the most important meeting of his life. The Zephyrian Emperor himself was coming to surrender. Emperor Vexner had ruled the galaxy for 300 years. He had never lost a war. He had never even imagined losing a war. But now his empire was crumbling, and it was all because of one species he had thought was weak. The meeting took place on a neutral space station. Robert Chun sat across from the tall, gray alien emperor. Between them were the surrender documents that would end the war. "I do not understand," the emperor said in his deep voice. "We had more ships. We had bigger weapons. We had 1,000 years of experience. How did you defeat us?" Robert looked at the alien leader who had started this war by killing innocent humans. "You made several mistakes," he said calmly. "First, you thought peaceful meant weak. Humans want peace, but we know how to fight when we have to." The emperor listened, his large eyes focused on Robert's face. "Second," Robert continued, "you thought old ways were the best ways. You used the same tactics for 1,000 years because they worked against weak enemies. But humans adapt. We learn. We change." Robert stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see human and alien ships together, no longer fighting. "But your biggest mistake," Robert said, "was thinking that fear would make us surrender. Instead, you made us angry. And angry humans are the most dangerous thing in the galaxy." Dr. Susan Lee was on the planet Zephyr, the alien homeworld, helping to set up the new government. The old empire was gone, replaced by a council where every species had a voice. "It's amazing," she told her team. "The Zephyrians are actually relieved that the war is over. Many of them were tired of being conquerors. They just didn't know how to stop." The former alien soldiers were learning new jobs. Instead of conquering planets, they were helping to rebuild the worlds they had damaged. It was a strange sight to see Zephyrian warriors planting trees and building schools. General Mark Johnson was in charge of keeping peace in the former empire. His human forces worked alongside alien species that had been enemies just months before. The hardest part, he told his officers, is teaching everyone that they don't have to be afraid anymore. Some of these species have been slaves for hundreds of years. They don't remember how to be free. Back on the neutral station, Emperor Vexner was signing the final surrender documents. His hands shook as he wrote his name. "What will happen to my people?" he asked Robert. "They will be free," Robert replied. "Free to choose their own government. Free to make friends with other species. Free to live in peace." "And what about me?" the Emperor asked. Robert thought for a moment. "You will be tried for the crimes you committed. The families of the people you killed deserve justice. But if you help us rebuild the galaxy, you might find a way to make up for what you did." Captain Jake Morrison was back on his ship, the Ranger, leading a patrol through space that was now safe for everyone. His daughter had sent him a message saying she was proud of him for helping to free the galaxy. "Captain," his communications officer said, "we're getting a signal from a ship in distress. It's Zephyrian." Jake thought about the mining station that the aliens had destroyed at the beginning of the war. 200 innocent people had died just to make a point. He could leave this alien ship to its fate, but that would make him like them. "Set course to help them," Jake ordered. That's what humans do. When they reached the damaged alien ship, Jake's crew worked for hours to save the Zephyrian crew. The alien captain was amazed. "Why are you helping us?" he asked Jake. "We tried to enslave your people. We killed your civilians. Because the war is over," Jake replied. "Because we're not like you used to be. We don't leave people to die just because we don't like them." The alien captain was quiet for a long time. Finally, he said, "I think I understand now why you won the war. You fight harder for peace than we ever fought for conquest." War Master Kethfer was in a human prison, waiting for his trial. He spent his days reading about human history, trying to understand how he had lost so badly. The more he read, the more amazed he became. Humans had been fighting wars for thousands of years. They had fought each other, their environment, and every challenge that came their way. They had learned lessons that the Zephyrians never had to learn. When Captain Tony Mitchell came to visit him, Kethfer looked up from his books. "Your species is remarkable," the former War Master said. "We thought strength came from big ships and powerful weapons. But real strength comes from never giving up, doesn't it?" Tony nodded. "Humans have a saying. It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. You picked a fight with a species that has been fighting for survival since the beginning of time." "We made our choice," Kethfer said. "Sadly, we could have been friends. We could have learned from each other. Instead, we chose war." "Yes," Tony agreed. "And you picked the wrong species to start a war with." 1 year after the surrender, Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship, looking out at a galaxy that was finally at peace. Humans had become the leaders they never wanted to be, but they were doing their best to help everyone live. Together, the Zephyrian Empire was gone, replaced by a council of free worlds. Species that had been slaves for centuries were learning to govern themselves. Trade and friendship were replacing conquest and fear. "Captain," Dr. Lisa Carter said, as she joined him on the bridge, "we're getting reports from the Outer Rim. 3 new species want to join the Galactic Council. They heard about what humans did, and they want to be part of a free galaxy." Jake smiled. "Good. The more friends we have, the less likely someone will try to start another war." "Do you think there will be other species like the Zephyrians?" Lisa asked. "Other conquerors who think they can rule the galaxy?" Jake thought about it. Probably. But if there are, they'll learn the same lesson the Zephyrians learned. When you threaten innocent people, when you try to take away freedom, when you start a war instead of seeking peace, you might pick the wrong species to fight. And if they pick humans? Lisa asked. Jake looked out at the stars, thinking about his daughter and all the human children who would grow up free because of what they had done. Then we'll remind them that humans fight hardest when we're fighting for something we love. And we love freedom more than anything else in the galaxy. The war was over, but the lesson would last forever. The galaxy had learned that peaceful species could be the most dangerous enemies when pushed too far. Bullies could be beaten. Freedom was worth fighting for. And sometimes the wrong species to start a war with was the one that looked the weakest but had the strongest heart. Humans had won not because they were the biggest or the strongest, but because they never gave up. They had turned a war of conquest into a war of liberation. They had shown the galaxy that there was a better way to live. The aliens who started the war had gotten exactly what they deserved. They had picked the wrong species to mess with, and now they would spend the rest of their lives learning what it meant to live in peace. Good luck to them. They were going to need it.